Hey folks, welcome to Firewood Homestead. My name is Teresa. If this is the first time you're here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. So today we're going to try sauerkraut for the very first time. Never tried it before. I wanted to, but I've just never gotten around to it. So we had half a cabbage left from Thanksgiving. I'm just going to weigh it out. I think it's about, I don't know, 3.15 pounds. Okay, so a 3-pound cabbage, you need 4.5 to 6 teaspoons of salt to do it. And I'll show you what I got. I ordered this crock off of Amazon, and it has, it's about 1 gallon. It has a water lid on top, so you put water in here so the gas can get out, stuff can't get in. The lid goes on, of course, and then it also came with some weights. So they fit like this to keep the cabbage under the brine, and also came with a pounder. So we'll take a gander and try and get this to work, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, maybe longer, we'll have sauerkraut. Ooh, it's exciting. Let me put this away. Okay, so I want a bowl. We've got a clean bowl here. We've got some cabbage. I'm going to take this one leaf off because you don't want any brown spots or anything like that. A bit of a spot there, so that's fine. So this can go in the compost. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this up so that it is like a grated cabbage. You can do it in a food processor if you have one. You can just slice it if you want, which is what I'm going to do. And then we're going to put it in our bowl. We're going to add pickling salt. The pickling salt I'm using is just Windsor pickling salt. You don't want anything that contains additives like iodine or anything like that. You just want plain salt. So let's chop this up. We're going to do it fine. So we've got fine cabbage. So just like you're doing it when you're making coleslaw. Okay, so we're going to throw that in the pot. This would be good to do with the mandolin as well. So my understanding is that it's 20 grams of salt per kilogram of cabbage. This is a 3-pound cabbage. How much salt? It was easier that way. What the salt does is helps break down the cell walls of the cabbage, and it actually creates its own brine with the liquid from the cabbage and the salt. And that's what does the fermentation. So you can do these different ways. It doesn't have to all be the same size. You want a bit of uniformity in the actual size of it, of the cabbage, but if you're going to cut them lengthwise or if you're going to cut them long ways, doesn't matter. And if you used a food processor for a mandolin, it would be a little bit faster, a little bit more consistency with size as well, instead of just trying to cut. But I'm good with just cutting. I've only got a small cabbage, so I didn't think we would use, because it's the first time I'm doing it, I didn't want to make too much. And the recipe in the book that came with the crock called for like 5 pounds of cabbage. So I think once I get this started, it is going to shrink quite a bit. Because of course the cell wall will break down and it won't be as hard, it'll be a lot softer. So there we go. 3 pounds of cabbage. Now what we want to do is we want to add the salt and let it sit for 15 minutes. So We're going to add, it's 4.5 to 6 teaspoons of salt, so we're going to add 5. 1. Okay, there we go. And we're going to stir. So we're going to get that salt down into the bottom. All right, perfect. So we're going to let that sit now for 15 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, folks, 15 minutes has gone by, so let's see what we've got. Have we got, oh, it is wetter. Okay. So now my understanding is that we need to knead this, like squish it for about 5 minutes. And that's when we'll start to see the difference in the juice. So massage it. Get those cell walls broken down and that salt started to merge in with it. You can also add, once you start getting the mixture and the brine going, you can add carrots if you'd like, grated up, beets. One of the recipes I saw calls for caraway seed, so you can add different spices. I think I'm just going to try cabbage and salt to start with. And then if you also, when you get it into your bowl or into your crock or your jar or whatever it is you're storing with, you want to make sure that the brine covers the cabbage once you get your weights on. Kneading bread. Look, it's starting to get very wet feel to it. If your liquid doesn't cover your cabbage, you can always add a brine solution, which is 1 teaspoon per 1 cup. So 1 teaspoon of salt to 1 cup of water. The water you want to use though is filtered or non-chlorinated, non-fluoride. Taste. Yeah, you can taste the salt. Not bad. Not too salty. Liquid in there. Oh yeah. Starting, not much yet, maybe a couple tablespoons. And then what you want to do when you put it in your crock or your jar, you want to stuff it down as much as possible. You don't want any air in there. And that helps with the brine that you have as well. So from one video I saw that if you do a lot of fermentation, you get familiar with the flavor that you want to start with. So the flavor, the saltiness of the cabbage. I have no idea yet because this is the very first time we've done this. So we'll see. So I didn't add the full amount of salt. I'm not really fond of overly salty foods. So we added halfway, so 5 teaspoons. I'll put the recipe in the show notes. It came from the I remember now. Pioneer Woman site. Starting to get not as hard. Now you can see it in the leaves, how much smaller it is. Oh, yep. Yep. And there's a bit more liquid there. I doubled it down. So fermenting itself takes 1 to 4 weeks. You can taste it after the first week, see what you think. If you want to ferment it a little longer, let it go. That's fine. Once you've fermented it, though, you want to put it in the fridge. It lasts for months in the fridge because it doesn't need fermenting anymore. And also, make sure that you keep the cabbage covered in the brine. So again, if you don't have enough when you jarred it up in the fridge, you can always add more brine solution. Okay, there we go. A little over 5 minutes, I think. Okay, so now we're going to add the cabbage to the crock. Crock's already been washed out. Okay. You want to get in there and make sure that it's all pushed down. Okay. Yeah, we're going to try and squish it down a little bit more. And this will also create a little bit more brine in there too. You want to get it all down, squished as tight as you can along the edges. Get it even. Now you could definitely, in this size crock, you could definitely do more than this 3-pound cabbage. Cabbage itself is only coming up to about there. And that's, 3 pounds? So that's okay. So we're just going to make sure that's all down. All around. Okay. Then we're going to add whatever brine we did have. Not a lot, but it's some. A little bit more cabbage in there. Okay, and then we'll just add that. Give it a good squish. And then we take our weights. And the weights themselves just fit in the side along here. Okay, and then you want to get them down. Now there's definitely not enough brine in there. So I have 2 cups of water. I'll start with that. Two teaspoons of salt. Just give that a stir. You don't want to heat the water that you're going to put in your crock. You want it cold or tap water if you're just using non-fluoride, non-chlorinated water. Give it a stir to mix up the salt. And then we're going to pour that right in. I can get you to see this. Let's try. See that? I don't know if you can see that. So we're just going to add the 2 cups. I don't think we needed quite 2 cups, but that's okay. Okay, so that's everything. So there you can see now, I don't know if you can or not, but you can see how everything is covered by the brine. Perfect. And it's starting now. Oh my goodness, it's starting now. So the lid goes on, and then we're going to take a little bit of water. And we want to fill up our water cup. And you can see the water. I don't know if you can or not, but you can just see the water just in there. So, there. Can you see it? So you want to keep that on there. So what that does is allows the gases to escape from the fermentation, but doesn't allow anything to get back in. Now, I understood from some reviews online that I'll have to refill this on a daily basis. It's a very small channel, which is fine. So I'll just make it every morning. I'll just go in and fill it up. And then we're just, I need a plate. Now, there should not be any issue with the amount that I have in the crock, because it's only coming up to here. You can feel the cold condensation, actually. So it's only about that far up the crock itself. This holds a lot more than what we've got. So with what we've got in there and with the channel around the top, there should not be an issue with anything escaping other than gases. And that's what we want. So we're going to leave it on the counter for 1 week. And then we're going to try it out, see what it's like. Got to check, make sure that everything is still under the brine. And I'm assuming that more brine will get created as it sits as well. And then we'll try it, see what it's like in a week. And if it's to our liking, we can stick it in the fridge. If it's not, then we can have it on another 3 weeks. And then that's usually about as far as you want to go, it seems. And then we'll let it go from there. So it's an experiment. Like I say, I've never done this before, so wish me luck. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll do more adventures like this. Take care.